So hey, my name's Chris. It's first time posting videos on here. Well, of myself, I guess. What I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna try to post a couple videos, hopefully once a week or once a month or whatever. But what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be touching those overly sensitive topics that nobody really wants to talk about because they feel like they're in the wrong or it's not politically correct or what have you. You know, pretty much, I'm gonna talk about the shit that the pussy ass people don't want to talk about. Okay, so. You know, I just want to make it clear that I'm not racist, I'm not biased, there's no favoritism here, I'm just speaking the truth. Alright? You know, the first one here, I'll talk about a personal situation, my experience. I was in the Marine Corps for about three and a half years. Alright, I didn't do the full 4 years because I got kicked out. And I know probably you're thinking, you know, some of you Marines watching this is thinking, oh, that fucking scumbag make the Marine Corps look bad. No, fuck that. What happened, okay, I was deployed, and we got orders to hunt down a sniper that 3 previous military units had been tracking. Alright, and all 3 previous units, this sniper had killed some members of each unit. Well, 2 weeks before we caught him, he shot and killed a good friend of mine. Friend died in my arms, and 2 weeks after that incident, you know, we caught him. All right, and where he was being held before he went to the main prison or whatever, I roughed him up a little bit. You know, I was very upset. I was livid. You know, I was in the. I mean, I'll be honest. I did lose my military composure. I did not keep my military composure. I will give you that. But so. They tried me. I had to go to court. You know, I had to spend 6 months in a military jail, and I got discharged with a bad conduct discharge. Now, you know, I tell people that, and some people are like, oh, you know, that's fucked up. I can't believe they did that to you. And some people are just like, wow, I can't believe you. Do you not have a soul? You know, blah, blah, blah. You know, look, it would be one thing if it was eye for an eye. But it wasn't. Eye for an eye would have killed the guy. All I did was I gave him a couple bruises. Okay, and possibly, I think, a couple cracked ribs. But you know, and it's funny because people who talk to me about it, and even during my trial, you know, the lieutenant colonel, or I think he was a colonel, he looked at me and said, now, Nystrom, you know, if you had the chance to do it over again, would you do the same thing? And I looked him dead in the face and I said, yes, sir, I would. Because my beliefs would still be the same. Just because I know that you guys, you know, are so frowned upon on it doesn't mean I'm not gonna, you know, change my beliefs. And it's messed up because, you know, they were trying to compare me. I don't know if you guys know about the whole Abu Ghraib incident with the harassment of prisoners there. See, I didn't do any of that. I didn't strip anybody naked and pile them up into a human pyramid and take pictures, or crucify them tie them up to a cross and take pictures and make fun of them and all that. No, I didn't do any of that. There was no pictures, there's no photographs. All I did was I just kicked his ass pretty much. And I was labeled a terrible Marine, a disgrace to my country. You know, and all my good friends were actually ordered to stay away from me in my unit because I was deemed pretty much kind of like a toxin to my unit because of what I had done. Because what I did was so terribly wrong. But yet at the same time, I had, you know, gunnery sergeants and, you know, master sergeants, you know, the guys that had been in for almost 20 years and that have seen some really messed up shit, more messed up than what I went through. And they were, you know, saying like, hey, you know, I'm sorry for your situation, but you know how it is with politics and all that. And that's exactly what it was. It was politics, you know, because I made the Marine Corps itself look bad. Now, the Marine Corps, yes, we do fight for our country, even though for the most part, it's still about oil, but that'll be a different topic for a different discussion for another video later on down the road, possibly next week. But it's all politics now. You know, like the whole we're making deals with the Taliban, and we're continuing on with these peace treaty deals, even though they're verbally telling us that the attacks are not going to stop just because we're doing this deal. You know, they're going to continue to happen. And it's funny because they're trying to blame it on those Marines urinating on those dead, questionable Taliban members. But you know, they're just using that as an excuse. They're still gonna attack us. They're the fucking Taliban, for crying out loud. But you know, people think like, oh, you know, why you got to make the country look bad? Why do these people got to do this? Why do you got to do that, Chris? Blah, blah, blah. Look, a person should not be held accountable for their beliefs. You know, it's like, you know, that whole thing where, you know, the only time your beliefs aren't held against you is if it's against religion. It doesn't matter if you're right or if you're in the right or you're wrong, or if you know, if you had a justifiable excuse, you know, you're still going to be held accountable. And, you know, it's because people are overly sensitive that no one will stick up for you. It doesn't matter how high up you are, it doesn't matter how many friends you have, they will not stick up for you for those overly sensitive topics that nobody wants to voice their opinions about. You know, nobody wants to take a stand and say, hey, listen, we need to change our fucking ways. So, but this was kind of random. I'm sorry, I'm driving to work. Maybe I should start doing this at home. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That was just an example of what's to come. You know, some of them, now granted, I do warn you, some of these topics will be very sensitive. You know, some people might get offended. But, you know, before each video, I will give the brief warning, you know, just so, because nobody's obligated to watch these videos. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not racist, I'm not biased, there's no favoritism. I'm just speaking the truth from personal experience, from experiences that have happened to people close to me, and stuff that's happened in the U.S. in the past, I don't know, 6 months to the past 6 years. So be prepared. Probably see you next week, hopefully. All right, later.